Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you again for it's gonna be for a decent to good albums of 2021 so far, part 3 video. And like I said, this is for part 3 of the decent to good albums of 2021 so far video. So I'm gonna discuss where I left off at. I think it's at number 17 and let you know which albums I'll talk about in this part. So let's dive into this video. Now, at number 17, I have Danny Elfman with Big Mess. I thought this was a pretty weird album, to be honest. There were some weird moments in it, but most of the album executed in a good way. Um, I think, sorry, I was looking at my phone to see what the percentage of the charge was. But, yeah, I think Sorry was one of my favorite ones from this. Happy was really weird, but there were some moments where it was good, and Everybody Loves You was pretty weird too. There's a lot of weird moments in this album. Love in the Time of COVID was meant to be a sexual song, but yeah, it didn't do so bad. It was odd, but yeah, I think Sorry was my favorite one. Insects was weird. I don't know if it's my favorite song, but Get Over It was good. Um, there were some good songs on here. Choose Your Side was a political song about Trump and all that, so yeah. It, I have my own opinions about Trump, pretty much. I don't want to go into discussion about that because I'm just talking about the album as a whole, but pretty much at number 17, I picked Danny Elfman with Big Mess. It was a good album for what it was. It was like 72 minutes, but it was a good album. At number 18, I picked AFI with Bodies. I did rate it a 6.5 out of 10 because I thought it was their weakest material, but I think the Blood album was probably their weakest uh, out of all their albums. This one's not so bad. It's a better album than the Blood album, but hey, I did buy the Blood album like years ago, but I did eventually sell it because I didn't want it anymore. I was like, this is a boring album. It's not that it was a boring album, it just, there were some songs on there that made AFI seem a little unbearable to get through with their albums. And yeah, I think Tied to a Tree was a good song. It was one of my favorite ones. Um, Looking Tragic was good. Death at a Party, or I think is what it's called. The At the Party You Was Left Behind, I think is what he was singing, Davey Havoc. Um, and Dulceria was really good. It Dulceria wasn't bad. What I'm trying to reiterate what I was saying. I thought it was really good. I might have made a mistake on what I said there. It was decent. It was a decent song. It's grown on me a lot more. Twisted Tongues was a pretty good song. Uh, and then what's the song? Far Too Near. That was a good one. Um, yeah, Far Too Near. There were some other songs as well, like I can't remember some of the songs to be honest. But majority of this album was pretty good. I did like the 10th song on the album. It was pretty good. So at number 18, I picked AFI with Bodies. Number 19, I picked Marshmello with Shockwave. Now, this wasn't a terrible album. I know most people say Marshmello albums are not the best albums, but for what it was going for, I didn't see a big problem with this album. Yeah, there was a few problems with this album. but majority of its execution was not so bad, in my opinion. But hey, everyone has their own opinion about what they think of an artist or a band or whatever it could be. You could be referring to. But still, Marshmello's album Shockwave wasn't bad. I didn't like the song that had Megan Thee Stallion in it when she was clearly not rapping. She might have been, I don't know, but it didn't sound like she was rapping. And that's what really disappointed me. And yeah, so at number 19, I picked Marshmello with Shockwave. I can't remember all the songs from there. I'd have to listen to the album again because I haven't returned to that album that much, but hey, it was a average album. At number 20, I picked Maroon 5 with Jordy. Not a lot of people like Maroon 5 because of the fact that they're sellouts. And yes, that's true. They are sellouts. They sold out to this trendy pop stuff nowadays, this radio-friendly pop stuff. And in the song Seasons in this album, probably was the worst song on the album. It was the weakest one. There were moments where it was fine, but when he starts rapping, Adam Levine, did not like that. I really cringed at that fact that he was rapping. But for what it was going for, I guess this album was decent. Lost has grown on me, meaning I'm starting to like it a lot more. Even though a lot of people are saying, oh, well, he's copying some other artist's song, which I did watch ARTV's review on Jordy. And yeah, I can agree with some things he says about the album and the fact that they're sellouts mostly. But I wouldn't condemn this album to be a bad album. It's a decent album at best, in my opinion. But hey, everyone's entitled to their own opinion on what they think of a band and other things like that. But Echo was not a bad one with Black Bear in it, and there were some other songs. Stevie Nicks was in the song Remedy. That was not a bad one. Not my favorite, but not a bad one. But there were other songs, like the song with Her, Convince Me Otherwise. Nobody's Love was not too bad, but not my favorite. Can't Leave You Alone. I didn't like that they added Juice WRLD in that song when clearly he passed away almost 2 years ago. And that's what I don't like about record companies where they make money off a certain artist that passed away and keep making continuous records of theirs when they're clearly gone. So just let it die. Pretty much. At number 20, I picked Maroon 5 with Jordy. Number 21, I picked Floor Cash with Don't You Look at Me That Way extended play. This was not a bad extended play. I didn't like Feeling So Down. That song really bothered me. It was but it really did bother me with Spresha's vocals and Cole's vocals in most of this album was not too bad. I think his name's Cole Randall or something like that. I'll have to look into it again because I did review their Baby It's Okay album and I thought that was pretty good for what it was going for. This EP was iffy, but it's not a bad extended play, but it's something. There's only like 4 songs on this extended play, so it's not really a long EP. So at number 21, I picked Floor Cash with Don't You Look at Me That Way extended play. Number 22, I picked Styx with Crash of the Crown. This was a average album. I've grown apart from this album because I haven't really listened to it as much. But there was, I think, some songs on here are fine, but then there are others that are iffy. I think the beginning of the album really disappoints you a bit because you expect it to be something good, and you get let down by a few songs, and then it gets a lot better as the album picks up to the second half. The second half is probably the best thing on the album, but as a whole, I think this album was good. I guess it was good. So I'll stick by my rating I gave it when I reviewed it over a month ago, which was a 8 out of 10. So at number 22, I picked Styx with Crash of the Crown. Number 23, I picked Beabadoobee with our extended play EP. This was not a bad extended play. I think it was fine for what it was. There were just some songs on here. Yeah, now I remember. I gave it an 8 out of 10, if I remember correctly. Last Day on Earth was solid. Cologne was not too bad. Animal Noises was alright. And He Gets Me So High was a pretty strong song. So there's only one song that I gave a 4 out of 5, but for what it was going for, it was fine. So number 23, I picked Beabadoobee's Our Extended Play extended play, of course. At number 24, and this is going to be the final one I'm going to mention, and then I'll return to you for part 4 in a little while. This is for Doja Cat, Planet Her. This album had a lot of cringy moments. Like, the song Naked was, well, it's a very sexual song, of course. Woman is too. Payday. I don't like Young Thug when he does his verse. It's so annoying and bothersome. Get Into It, Yeah, is the worst song on the album. So is Ain't Shit. I'm like, this is horrible. But You Right was not a bad song. Love to Dream was not too bad. I Don't Do Drugs was not so bad. And Need to Know was fine. Not the best song, but it was fine. Options was not bad. Been Like This was fine. And Imagine, Alone, and Kiss Me More were solid tracks. Not the best songs, but Kiss Me More kind of ended the album on a sweet note, I guess you could say, to hype up fans for her next upcoming project. But I thought the album was decent, so it did make this list of decent to good albums, but I gave it a 7 out of 10 because it's a decent album. It's not the best thing I've heard this year, but it's something. And that's going to be it for part 3 of the decent to good albums of 2021 so far video. Sorry that I paused for a moment. I just forgot what I was going to say. I will return to you for part 4, and it might be to finish. Sorry that I moved my hand when I was showing you the 4 thing or whatever. But yeah, part 4 is going to be out in a little while. Probably in about an hour or so, hopefully. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this part 3 of decent to good albums of 2021 so far. I did the best I could to make it as good as possible. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you in part 4. Hopefully it's the final part to end this decent to good albums of 2021 so far videos. So I'll see you in my next video.